Alright, hey guys, thanks for taking a look at my video submission. My name is Mathew Broughton, although most of my friends call me Maddie or Maddie B. I kind of adopted that name. I'm a local musician here in town, but I'll get back to that later. I'm 26 years old, I live in Santa Barbara, and we're here at my beautiful home. Basically how I came to be in Santa Barbara is, as a kid, I was born in California. Love living in California, always been an outdoor person, hiking, camping, learned how to surf before I could walk. But then when I was still young, my parents moved to Houston, Texas, which I wasn't really happy about. But living in Houston wasn't so bad. I learned a lot about ranches. A lot of people down there have ranches. A lot of people are actually cowboys. So that was an interesting part of my life, kind of learned about southern living. But never lost my California roots. As soon as I had an opportunity to get out of there, right after high school, got a one-way ticket back to California and wound up here in Santa Barbara going to Brooks Institute of Photography, where I specialized in underwater cinematography. So right out of school, I got an awesome job as an underwater cinematographer, and for 3 years, me and my boss traveled around the world, and I got to dive, got paid to scuba dive in all kinds of different locations. Got to do things like diving with whale sharks, diving in and out of the cage with great white sharks. So that was pretty amazing. And after about 3 years of that, I decided to branch out on my own. Now I do my own photography and video production here in town, and things are great. I don't have a real job per se, but not having a real job allows me to do a lot of the things that I'm really passionate about. Some of those things are hang gliding. For the last 3 years I've been hang gliding. Santa Barbara is actually one of the best places in the world to learn how to hang glide, and I've had an opportunity to fly all kinds of different sites along the coast and really experience flying, something that most people don't get to experience, so that's really cool. I'm definitely an adventurer. I love to do extreme sports. I'm a surfer, as I mentioned before. I love to skateboard, ride motorcycles on the weekends. I'm also an accomplished musician. I just released my first EP album. I love to sing and write my own music, play harmonica, do all that kind of thing. So I got a lot going on. I love living in Santa Barbara. I'm definitely an adventurer, a traveler. I've been all over the world. I've been to Europe, South America, Central America. I'm a free diver and a spear fisherman. We always have barbecues here at the house, and me and my buddies go out and get fresh lobster and fish and bring it back and barbecue it up for everybody. And also I work closely with a company, nonprofit called Diving for a Cause, and I've gotten to travel all over the world with them as well. And all this fish that we spearfish, we sell at the market and then use the money to help out local orphanages and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Things are going good here in California, and I think that I would be a great person for the show. So I really hope that you guys consider me, and thank you for taking the time to listen to this. Let's get into the interview questions. Land O'Lakes, home of the butter. I know Land O'Lakes is a type of butter. I believe it's made, their little slogan is, comes from family farms. It's got to be near a lake, so my guess would be Wisconsin. I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. Okay. 3 things I picture on an organic farm, let's see. Compost heap, definitely. Hippies. And some of the best organic food that you can get at the farmer's market. Huge fan of the local organic market here. Organic means to me that there's no pesticides used, no chemicals. I think actually the ground has to be pesticide free or chemical free for a number of years for something to be considered organic. But living here in Santa Barbara, huge fan of organic everything. Yeah, that's my take. If I was an organic farm worker, 3 things that I think I would be extremely well at is all the manly man activities. I think I would be really good at anything carpentry related, plowing fields, stuff like that. The main thing that I think I would be really good at is the farming aspect of it. I'm a huge farmer here at my home. I love to grow all kinds of stuff, exotic plants, succulents, cactuses. We've got a tomato garden growing out back, so that's definitely my thing. Let's see, 3 things that I would suck at on an organic farm. I think that anything related with poop would probably be an issue for me. I've seen in shows where they're having to like shove their hand up the cow or the horse's butt to get something out. Definitely not cool with that. Also, I'm an animal lover. I'm a huge animal lover actually. I have a bunch of exotic reptiles as well as some sugar gliders. which is really cool. So anything that would have to do with hurting animals, I would be good with. I definitely would not want to castrate or cut the balls off of any kind of animal, and branding would also be hard for me, just to have to stick a hot iron to an animal, because I don't want to see them suffer. Let's see, things that I would absolutely not do as far as farm work. I think I would try about anything once. I'm one of those kind of people. I think I'd be great on Fear Factor actually, because I love experience. I think you have to try everything once. So I do pretty much everything at least once to see if I like it or not. Even one time in Thailand, I ate a giant water beetle. At a street vendor, so I'm one of those people that'll try everything one time, yeah. The thing I'm looking forward to doing the most if I got on the show is probably something that I've never done before. Like I said before, I love to try new things, and if you guys could get me to try something that I've never done before, I'm definitely in. Alright, you guys want to see my hands? They're definitely not baby hands. They've been around the block a couple times. I'm a musician too, as I've mentioned before, so I got some pretty thick calluses on my fingers. The most taxing physical effort I've ever had to do, well, I'm kind of an adventure seeker, so I probably could list off about 10 things that were near-death experiences, but one of the hardest things I've ever had to do was me and my buddy were training for Mount Whitney, and we were actually hiking Mount Baldy here in LA, and we did one of the hardest trails on Baldy, and coming right down from the top, I blew my meniscus in my knee. So basically my options were stay on the side of the mountain and get eaten by a mountain lion, or make it down. So it was about 5 hours of climbing down some pretty steep terrain with a blown meniscus in my knee. It was painful and hard. Am I skittish around large animals? I wouldn't say that I'm skittish around large animals, but our personalities definitely can collide at times. I had one funny experience up at Gary LeFew's ranch, where I had an opportunity to ride bulls, and now you guys know a little bit about me. I never turned down an opportunity. So yeah, I went up there to ride bulls, and one of the first things that Gary had us do is he said, hey, if you're going to ride on one of these 1,600-pound bulls, you got to be able to ride a horse bareback. I had never been on a horse in my life at that point. It was a giant horse. It was really tall. It was super skittish around me, and one of the farm workers tried to give me a boost up on top of the horse, and I went right up over the horse and down into the ground, face planted in the dirt on the other side. So that was my first experience with a horse, but I have to say, out of everybody that got on that horse that day, I was the only person that did a perfect dismount and landed on my feet. So right after I graduated high school, I didn't get to go on an adventure for a whole year, but I did take a break and I went to Thailand with my buddy, my really close buddy. And like I said before, I'm an adventurer. I like to do things spontaneous, last minute. So literally, we decided we were going to Thailand, bought tickets, and we're on a plane 3 days later to Thailand, where we traveled everywhere, all the way up into Laos and all the way down south into the ocean, and did a bunch of scuba diving. So that was a really neat experience. I did vote for Obama, and it's not because he's black. I voted for Obama because he made a lot of good promises. Now, whether he's kept up with all those promises, that's a whole nother story. How do I feel about Obama's healthcare plan? Well, I'm not really a political person, so I can't say that I'm really up to speed with everything, but in general, I say that the healthcare right now sucks in America, and Canada's got it really good. I have lots of volunteer experience, actually. On top of earlier I mentioned that I work closely with a nonprofit called Diving for a Cause, and with them I've had opportunities to travel all over the world and give back to different communities by spearfishing, and the fish that we catch we sell at the local market, and then use that money to do things like help rebuild an orphanage, or in Nicaragua we bought malaria medicine and went around village to village and helped out the villages down there. Also, I was on the path to be a doctor for a long time in a past life before I was a photographer, and I had an opportunity to work for several years in hyperbarics and major wound care, as well as in the ER at University of Texas Medical Branch. Is there a cause that I would be so passionate about that I wouldn't mind getting arrested? I would have to say that one would be equality. I've never actually had to deal with equality on a personal level, but just watching how African Americans were treated in the 60s, or the way that the white man treated the Indians, it really affects me at a deep level. And if I was put in one of those situations, I would be the white person fighting with the African Americans for equality, or fighting for freedom with the Native Americans. That's a really passionate point for me. I am definitely not a vegetarian. I eat meat with every meal. Sometimes my friends will ask me, hey, what do you want to eat tonight? And I'll be like, as long as it has meat in it. That's the only thing I care about. If it's got meat in it, I'm good to go. Who is my favorite celebrity? I would say my favorite celebrity is Tom Selleck, and it's because I wish I could grow a mustache like his. My favorite reality show is probably American Pickers, because I'm kind of an entrepreneur. I don't have a real job, so I'm constantly coming up with new ways to get income, and when I watch the way that they take junk and turn it into gold, it's pretty amazing. I also have to admit, I'm a little embarrassed, but I'm a huge fan of The Bachelor. Can't get enough of it, the drama's great. The last book I read was actually On the Road by Jack Kerouac, and in the application process I actually noticed one of the questions was, who wrote On the Road? Great question, Jack Kerouac, one of my favorite books, love it. Anything else you guys should know about me? I have a very charismatic personality. I love being around people. I love trying new things. I love adventure. I love travel. I love pushing the boundaries, putting myself outside my comfort zone. And I think that being on this show would be a perfect opportunity for me to really push myself to my limits and try some new things. I think I would be great at it. So I really hope that you guys consider me, and thank you for taking the time to watch this.